Good evening, everyone. Dear researcher and invited guests, it's my great pleasure to welcome you the 5th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Competitive Strategy ICTCS 2020 virtually on Zoom. We all have been striving hard to fight against the pandemic COVID-19, and now we are already in a second wave of it. We at ICTCS 2020 wish you and your family a very healthy life ahead. Kindly request you to take necessary precaution for your own safety to overcome this phase as well. We at Global Knowledge Research Foundation are thankful to our all guests for being a part of this virtual conference for making it successful as the previous ones. Hope you will enjoy the 2 days of interactive sessions. I would want to let the presenters know that they will be given 8 minutes for their presentation and 2 minutes for any queries. I humbly request to stick to the allotted time. Now I would like to introduce our session chair, Dr. Parikshit Mahale. He is a professor and head of department in Singhar University of Singhar Institute of Technology and Science, Pune, India. He has a more than 18 years of experience, research, 18 years of teaching and research experience. His subject of interest includes theory of computation system, software, data structure, algorithms, principle of programming languages, computer network security, design, and analysis of algorithms. Dear sir, I welcome you, and now
Thank
I
you.
would want you to take this session and continue further. All overs to you.
Thank you. Thank you. We can start with the first presentation.
Yes, sir. I think our first presenter is absent, so we can call up our next presenter.
Yeah, please.
So K. Uma Maheshwari.
I request all presenters to stick to the guidelines. We can start with first presentation.
I think Uma has some network issue. So we can call our first presenter. He's there, Nadar Johan.
Yes, good evening. Should I share my screen?
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
please.
A very good evening to everyone present over here. My name is Johan Nader, and I'm here to present my paper, which is titled Project Preservation and Emulation Using Containerization over Private Cloud. My other teammates are Yami Najani, Krish Manglorkar, Mahendra Mehra, and Dr. Dhananjay Kalbande. So, in most academic organizations, students work on various projects which are submitted in soft copy form. These projects are developed on students' personal machines with preset environments pertaining to the particular project's requirements. This makes demonstration and reference of these projects cumbersome as the required runtime environments for successful emulation of these projects are not only unavailable but also difficult to set up considering the large amount of projects the academic organization may require to emulate. Moreover, these projects are often stored in physical storage devices, which are subject to wear and tear. What we propose is a cloud based solution, which is a web application supported by DevOps practices that creates images of these projects and stores them in a persistent state using the concept of containerization. In our solution, the projects are stored as Docker images that can be emulated in a container at any time and can be accessed from anywhere using all the benefits cloud computing offers. So the difference between virtualization and containerization we highlight here are: virtualization utilizes software that simulates hardware resources in order to create a virtual system. With the help of virtualization, it is possible to run multiple computers having different operating systems on a single physical server's hardware. With the help of containerization, we can deploy multiple applications on a single virtual machine or server using the same operating system. Virtual machines are quite slow as they need to start the entire OS, including the entire boot up process. On the other hand, a container starts immediately without any delay as the OS is already running. Virtualization has hardware level isolation, while containerization has process level isolation. The security in virtualization is higher as VMs are treated as separate entities due to hardware level isolation. Since containerization isolates only data at process level, it is less secure than virtualization. So, according to our flow diagram, after the student creates the project, he provides a GitHub link to the project which contains the Docker file. This Docker file is used to create a Docker image of the project, which is then stored on the Docker registry. When the professor searches for the project he or she may want to display on the professor dashboard and runs it, a Docker container is started using the stored Docker image. This emulated instance of the project can then be accessed by going to the URL provided by the Docker engine on which the container is running. Now, Docker. Docker is a tool which is used for creating, deploying, and running applications using operating system level virtualization. All the project dependencies and libraries can be packed together using a Docker container, which can then be deployed as a single package. This ensures that the project will be able to run on any other machine, regardless of the settings of that machine being different than that of the one on which the project was developed. The applications running on Docker use the host system's kernel and only require the specific dependencies that the running application needs and which are not available on the host system. This completely nullifies the need for establishing a virtual machine to run the application. As a result, the size requirement is decreased and the performance is boosted significantly. Docker has also been extensively used in this project, and all the main features are based on it. We move on further to the methodology and implementation of our project. Creating and saving projects as a Docker image. The project begins with an authentication screen which requires students to log in to gain access. The project admin registers each group of students. On successful authentication, the students will be taken to their dashboard. This dashboard gives them details about the existing projects and also allows them to run it, update it, or even create a new project. Creating a new project requires the students to host the project on GitHub and provide the URL for that project repository. The GitHub hosted project must contain a Docker file, which will ultimately be used to create the Docker container. When this URL is submitted, a Docker image is created for their project and is stored in the backend. Next, once logged in, the students and teachers, through their respective dashboards, have the option of starting the Docker container for a project that has already been created by the students. To start the container for an existing project, the Docker image for that particular project is fetched from the backend where it is stored. Once the container is started, an IP address is created, using which the student or teacher can access a running instance of the project. Once they have completed viewing the project, they can stop the container which was running by clicking on the stop option available on the dashboard. The update option makes it easier for the students to commit new changes and eliminates the need to create a new project each time they make changes to their project. The search feature makes it easier for teachers to search for a particular project using either the student's ID or the group ID. This helps them in filtering and creating projects in a robust manner and also saves time. Further on, we move to the technology stack and the front-end technologies that we use. We use HTML and CSS for structuring and styling the website. JavaScript, on the other hand, was used to add more functionality, make the website more dynamic, and also used for data handling and routing. The entire website was built using material design guidelines. AJAX was used, which stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It is a set of techniques used to make web pages which have asynchronous features. We used AJAX for handling requests and responses between the front end and back end. In on the backend side, we use Flask, which is a WSGI-based web framework, which is written in Python programming language and also has a built-in development server. We use Flask as a backend service to handle requests and to interact with databases and Docker. We use MySQL, which is the most popular open source relational database management system, as our database. Finally, we use GitHub for fetching the projects developed by students. So, in order to conclude, the problem that many educators and students faced with regards to project preservation primarily involved the method in which it was supposed to be preserved. Increased cost due to physical storage devices, setup of required runtime environment, extra space needed to store are some of the major problems as far as project preservation and emulation is concerned. Due to the heterogeneous nature of the projects, it is very difficult for the educators to set up project environments as students develop projects using a variety of technologies. Our project eliminates this issue and makes it easier to import and run the projects. The containerization based solution that we provide overcomes the storage issue as it requires a single Docker file to be stored in order to create and run a Docker container. This Docker file not only contains information related to the project code, but also has information regarding environment variables, project specific dependencies, and any other libraries the project might need to run successfully. This makes it easier for institutions and educators to run a particular project in the absence of students who develop the project, irrespective of the machine on which the project was initially developed not being present. As a result, the projects can be demonstrated whenever required to the stakeholders, external committees, and junior students. We thank you for your time.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay. So this is part of your BTech project or MTech project? I think it is BTech project, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. I have one simple question that when you say that containerization is better and
Yes,
it takes less storage as compared to virtualization, right?
yes, sir.
So then why people have not been migrated completely to containerization? Still there is virtualization is in use.
So the storage required for containerization is lesser than virtualization because it doesn't have to copy the entire OS along with it. It makes use of the OS of the system it is on. But why it is not used more frequently
Yeah.
um, is I could say it is because it is less secure than virtualization. That could be
Hmm.
one reason.
So that was what. Now my next question is then what process you have used for authenticating user when it is connected to cloud.
Um, so the authentication only involves, since it's a college-based project,
Hmm.
so we have a user login and admin login for the teachers who would want to enter, and which
Hmm.
would be provided by the college itself.
Okay, so there is no any authentication mechanism being used by in your project, right?
No, not.
Okay, so in your case, you are using public cloud or private cloud?
We are using private cloud.
So which private cloud you are using?
Um,
Hmm?
um, so
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Thank you. Well done.
yes, thank you.
Richa madam, we can start with next presentation.
We can call our next presenter K. Uma Maheshwari.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Can you hear me, sir?
yes,
Can you see my presentation, sir?
no.
No. Sure.
Yeah, it is visible now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So myself, Uma Maheshwari, research scholar in the Department of CSC, NIT Trichy, sir. My paper is an efficacious e-voting mechanism using blockchain to preserve data integrity in fog nodes. These are the outlines of my presentation, sir. Introduction, data integrity in fog computing, proposed work, e-voting implementation, experimental results, conclusion, and references. Fog computing architecture consists of three layers: IoT layer, fog layer, and cloud layer. IoT layer consists of IoT devices, a number of IoT devices. A device that can be connected to the network using Wi-Fi and it is able to transfer the data to the network means then it is known as IoT devices. And fog layer is the intermediary between the IoT layer and the cloud layer. Fog layer consists of a number of compute nodes and servers which are used to process this IoT data. And cloud layer is also consist of servers and compute nodes which are used to provide services to the user on demand. Here fog layer came into existence because of IoT layer. So IoT layer consists of a large number of IoT devices and they are generating large amount of data. If there is no fog layer, then IoT layer directly communicated with the cloud layer and sends all its data to the cloud layer. So it creates heavy network traffic and requires high bandwidth also. In order to tackle this, fog layer was introduced. So here the fog layer, what it is very nearer to the IoT layer, so it can process the IoT data very easily, and then it sends instant response to the IoT layer. Fog computing is not an alternative to the cloud computing, but it's a complementary to the cloud computing. Generally speaking, fog layer is like a cache memory, cloud layer is like a main memory. If the IoT data can be processed by the fog layer, then it is processed. Otherwise, it will be forwarded to the cloud layer. Like cloud computing, data security should be needed in fog computing also. Security means these three things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That is, the data which is in the fog server should be confidential one. It should not be read by the malicious user. For example, in a vehicular network, if the person's daily traveling path is read by some malicious user, then it will be danger to that person. So data, fog server data should be a confidential one. And integrity means there should be no alteration in the data. For example, an organization has a machine with automatic cooling system. If a machine temperature is going high means then this cooling system is automatically turned on. For example, the fog server is storing the data, temperature data as 100 degrees Celsius. Suppose if the malicious user changes it as 10 degrees Celsius means then the cooling system will not automatically turned on. So it will the machine will get damaged. So data tampering in the fog node may cause significant economic losses, infrastructure damage, and personal injury. And availability means the data in the fog server should be available to legitimate IoT devices on time. This is availability. So in these three things, I have taken the integrity as my work. I am achieving that integrity in fog computing using blockchain. So blockchain is nothing but series of immutable data records with a timestamps. So this is the structure of a block. It has the timestamp, that is timestamp stores the time of the block creation, and data is actual data what we are storing. Current hash, this is calculated from this data using SHA algorithm. And nonce is number used once, which is used to find out the record hash. Record hash means hash with some condition. In this example, a hash is starting with three leading zeros. So this is a record hash here. Finding the hash is easy, but finding the conditional hash is somewhat difficult. In order to find this, some high computing servers are needed. Those servers, those nodes are known as miners in a blockchain. And last field is previous hash. This stores the hash of the previous block. So the chain will be formed. Blockchain is popular because of a distributed mechanism, consensus protocol, hashed transaction, and mined blocks. And this is the architecture of the blockchain. So these are the components of the blockchain. Node is nothing but user or computer minus, which performs block verification and which generates nonce also. And this blockchain is a sequence of blocks, and block is a set of transaction, and transaction is nothing but a record or information. And how the blockchain works. Here the users are generating the transaction. Those transactions are stored in the memory pool. The miners pick the transaction from the memory pool and find the hash and its equivalent nodes. Then these will be added in the block and a new block is created. This new block is circulated among all the nodes in the blockchain network. And then after validation, the block is added to the blockchain. So in my proposed framework, the fork network is having one fork server and many compute nodes. This fork server is responsible for collecting this IoT data and responsible for hosting the IoT application. These compute nodes are acting like miners. This will generate blockchain and stores the blockchain. So I'm using that framework in voting system. Election allows people to choose their representative. A key part in the election is maintaining the integrity of the data. Various voting methods are available, traditional paper ballot, EVM methods. But here the person has to visit the voting place and huge manpower is needed and vote information can be altered. So these problems will be solved by e-voting method. But e-voting method has some challenges. That is, initial expenditure is high and fraud is easier to vote. So malicious user may illegally change the voting information. That is, the integrity of the vote is not preserved here. In order to preserve it, I'm using my proposed framework in e-voting system. Here, the employee information is already stored in the fork server. The user enters his company user credentials to the fork server to access it. And then after verifying it, the fork server will give the random voter ID to the user. The user uses that random voter ID and password to access the voting application, and then he cast his vote, record his vote. Those vote transactions are stored in the vote pool. The compute nodes, which are acting as miners, they take voting transactions from the vote pool, and then they perform mining, and nonce is found, the block is constructed and validated and then inserted into a blockchain. So all the compute nodes updated the blockchain. Then at the end of the election, at the end of the day, the blockchain is stored in the server node and in the blockchain also. If an organization has 6 different branches, means then 6 fork networks available. Then the blockchain within this fork network are known as local, and these blockchains are combined and the global blockchain is generated. It will be stored in the all the fork servers and in the cloud also. So this is a screenshot of my work. Here the user is registering his vote. This is the vote confirmation, and these are the vote transaction in the vote pool. And these are converted into a block and added in the blockchain here. So as a conclusion, I'm using blockchain technology to ensure the data integrity in fog computing. So I'm using my proposed framework in e-voting system. In most of the blockchain protocols, a new block is generated in less than a minute. So use of blockchain technology itself proves that the proposed framework maintains the data integrity. In the future, the framework can be implemented using different blockchain protocols and its performance can be analyzed. And these are my references. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Madam, I have a few questions.
Yes, sir.
In your presentation, you mentioned it's a very good topic because blockchain is emerging technology now.
Yes,
However, I would like to know which are blockchain protocols. You mentioned somewhere blockchain protocols. So can you list down few blockchain protocols?
Sir,
Because I didn't hear this word before. Yeah, so I would like to. I'm more curious about it.
Sir, lot of that is blockchain. Our platform is known as blockchain protocol, sir.
No,
It doesn't
platform
come
is
to my
different. Protocol is different, right? As you know, platform is different, protocols are different. Protocols have different meaning, and platform is having different meaning. So that's what I have raised this question.
Generally, it's like that, sir. Qu- Quorum is one of the blockchain protocols, sir.
Hmm?
Quorum.
So
Quorum.
how it
Q.
works? How it works?
Sir, I don't know the internal working.
Okay, so then which blockchain platform you are using in your implementation?
Sir, I'm using Python, sir. Using Python, I'm implementing the blockchain, sir.
Python is not the
With
platform. Python is not the
uh,
platform. Python is programming language. And my
just
question is
yes,
platform.
sir. Just I'm simulating the blockchain concept, sir.
So you are not using Ethereum or Hyperledger?
No, sir. I'm not using that, sir. That's sir.
Not using that. And you are using electronic voting machine as a application for entire your research.
No, sir. Not voting application. Just data
Hmm.
integrity in fog computing as my problem, sir.
Hmm.
Just I'm tested it with e-voting system, sir.
And what about the overhead? As you know that when you process something on the blockchain, you have different more overhead. So what is overhead in your implementation?
Uh, Sir, actually, it's a one-day process only, sir. Because in a single day, all the transactions are recorded,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. So there is more overhead because there is more load at particular time window.
Yes, sir.
So
Since it is an voting system in an organization, I think there is no much vote casting in this, sir.
okay, fine. Thank you. We can start with next presentation, Richa madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now we can call our next presenter, Nikumani Chaudhary.
Yeah, hi. Let me just share my screen. Let me know when it's visible. Uh, I think it's visible right now, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hi. So good evening, everyone. So I'll be presenting the paper Low Power DSME Based Communication on Onboard Processing in Unmanned Aerial Vehicles for Smart Agriculture. So this work is done by myself, Nikumani Chaudhary, and my collaborator, Mrs. Anakia Zarika. So the contents goes like this. So initially we'll see briefly about the IEEE 802.15.4 based DSME MAC. It is deterministic synchronous multi-channel MAC, and then we'll see the motivation of the work and the contributions of this work. Finally, the conclusion. So smart agriculture basically aims to provide the agriculture industry an advanced technological infrastructure and that includes IoT, that is Internet of Things, big data, cloud, robotics, the UAVs, okay, basically the drones, what I mean through UAVs here, and AI and so many things. So it is sometimes referred to as the third green revolution as well. Smart agriculture in rural areas can largely benefit from the low power, low cost sensors and the UAVs to sense the soil, the temperature, the salinity of the soil, water, light, insects, pests, and so on. Okay, and then like the UAVs can, the sensors will sense those things. The UAVs can take some images of the maybe the crops or all the plants, and all this data and the images. Okay, so this can be exchanged for monitoring and controlling of the crops. So the IEEE 802.15.4 standard is generally considered as the de facto standard for implementing IoT applications that support low data rate wireless connectivity with fixed portable and mobile devices that has very limited battery consumption. So since smart agriculture involves IoT, so that is why we thought of using, or we have used 15.4 standard to implement. The other standards are also available, such as maybe Bluetooth or wireless WAN. Okay, but like they although they provide high data rate, but they consume a lot of energy while doing so, and that does not suit any IoT applications, or probably not the sensor devices that we are going to use probably in a agricultural field, because we want the network lifetime or the battery to last long. So these are the basic topologies. There's a 15.80 to 15.4 standard supports. It can be a star topology or a cluster tree topology. These are peer-to-peer cluster tree topology. So if we are building a larger network, so we go for a cluster tree topology. And this is a network model that we are looking into in this work. Okay, so there will be some sensors, and this there will be some other devices that will not only send, but they will also route data from other devices and pass it on to the probably an edge device or a UAV. So I think fog and edge was a little bit explained by the previous author, so I'll not go into it. So the 15.4 standard, it supports three different type of MAC. One is the default 15.4 MAC. Okay. Another is this GSME. Another is the third one is the TSCH. Okay, times slotted channel hopping. So we are at, considering this deterministic synchronous multi-channel exchange mode because this provides balance between energy efficiencies along with providing QoS services. So this DSME mode is intended for the support of various industrial applications and healthcare applications. It supports low and deterministic latency. So that is required whenever because in the field when a drone is run, it cannot be hovered throughout the day. So it will be probably hovered for around 5 minutes or so, or maybe just 1 minute through a given area, I guess. So this delay in transmission has to be minimum, reliability has to be high, and the entire system has to work in a very energy efficient way. GSME enhances the 15.4 MAC GTS by grouping multiple superframes. So we'll see water superframes. Okay, so yeah, so this is a DSME multi superframe structure. So this is the cap part, that is contention access period, where transmissions takes place using the traditional CSMA-CA procedure. Okay, that is the channel is sensed, and if it is free, then only the transmissions take place. The other thing is this contention free period. Here, via multiple channels, okay, like all, like there are 27 total number of channels available in 15.4, but maybe fewer number of channels may be useful at a particular time. So so every node or every device, in fact, so they are allotted a dedicated portion of the channel for transmission in the contention free period. So in the contention access period, so contention takes place, so there can be delay in transmission, whereas CFP is like a TDMA. So every device gets a particular time for transmission. So this is a superframe structure. So beacon interval basically means the every device transmits beacons, right? So we know that probably in a Wi-Fi access mode, everything beacons are transmitted. So beacon interval is a time length between two successive beacons. And superframe duration is basically the time when the transmissions takes place. So this superframe structure is basically defined by few parameters like the superframe order that defines the superframe duration. Then there is this MO, that is your multi superframe order, that defines the multi superframe length. Okay, so this length will be repeated consecutively, and BO is the time that defines us the time length between two successive. Okay, so there is a concept that we use specifically in this work that is called cap reduction. So going back to the previous slide, we can see so every superframe duration consists of this cap and CFP. So if you want to maximize this reliability or transmission, what we can do is that we can replace this cap by CFP. So the standard supports such an mechanism or a technique that is called uh, uh, cap reduction. So what happens in a cap reduction is the first cap is intact and the rest of the cap can be replaced by CFP. So more multi-channel transmission would be possible. So maybe in this figure, only this cap would be present Yeah, so this first cap is present and the rays are all CFP. Okay, so this is again repeated.
Dear presenter, you have last 2 minutes. Please
So,
conclude your presentation.
yeah, sure. So I'll move into the work then. Uh, so the standard does not define any cap reduction mechanism. So we define such a mechanism. So whenever the coordinators or the devices, they receive the beacons from the UAVs and the bug for occupancy is more than 80%, then we invoke the cap reduction procedure. And once it is done, we restore, because cap reduction always suppose high reliability, but it also consumes a lot of energy, which we do not want to do. So that is only for the specific time when the UAVs hover around the field. And this is the computing architecture. So we also devise a onboard processing system for processing the data quickly, rather than, so only important or the images with abnormalities would be sent to the base station, okay, or the edge or the cloud as per the application's need. So this will allow us reduce our computation uh, requirements. And so we had some preliminary results. So we saw whenever we use the proposed scheme, so at that particular time, so we saw the throughput was increased, the latency decreased, but along with this QS, because it gives us this benefit, we observed the energy consumption was higher at that point, and the channel utilization was higher. The reason being, we were able to use the multi-channel scheme out there. So in this work, we had proposed the cap reduction mechanism, and also uh, we had devised computing architecture. So in future work, so we plan to devise an offloading strategy for the edge devices or the UAVs, and we can speed up this onboard processing by including an accelerator architecture. So these are the few selected references. Thank you, sir.
I have one question. What is your opinion about the energy consumption for the standard which you have mentioned, 802.15.4?
Yeah, so 15.4 actually is basically the default MAC is for relaxed throughput and latency requirements. So maybe if you are going for like a industrial IoT where transmissions are small in number, the amount of data is small, and like we do not need a high data rate, I think 15.4 is the best option. So if you're planning for a video streaming or something like that, no, 15.4 is not the solution.
Then what is your opinion about BLE 4.0?
Huh? 4 point?
BLE, Bluetooth for low energy, 4.0.
Right. So actually that is, I think now it is being highly used in our wristbands and like, so.
Yeah.
So it is an enhancement, and but I'm not pretty sure about how it can be used for large scale networks. So
it can be used because I think you should also consider the performance between 802.15.4 and BLE 4.0. Nowadays BLE 4.0 has been used more widely across many applications.
Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah. So,
right, so I think there should be some comparison with state of the art where BLE 4.0 has been used in some of the use cases.
I think that can be considered. I think
yeah. Okay, so this is part of your PhD work, or this is part of any MTech project or BTech project?
No. Yeah, so this work is this work is a part of my student, so from another department. So
okay.
yeah, so these are project courses that we float.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We can start with next presentation.
You can call our next presenter, Aishwarya. I think Aishwarya is absent, and our next presenter is Chidananda. He's also absent. We can call our next presenter, Yash Bhatt.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not audible now.
Hello. Now I am audible.
Yeah.
Okay, just a minute. I will share my screen. Okay, the screen is visible. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Your screen is visible. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Please.
myself Yash Bhatt, and I am here presenting the paper title Application of Python and Programming and its Future. So here the table of contents are motivation, introduction, literature review, review analysis, conclusion, feature scope, and some references. So motivation of making these papers are Python, which is created by Guano and Rossums, is getting advanced in this living world because of its simple syntax. In order to introduce the popularity of the language, we did some work so to introduce this language in this paper. Rather than using a more line of code, Python uses easy syntax for programming.
Just a minute. Yes. Can you show me your title slide, please?
Sure.
Sorry. Application of
This is
Python.
application of Python programming and its future.
Okay. Please go ahead. Please.
Oh. So motivation of rather than using more line of code is as compared to other language, Python uses simple syntax for programming. It also utilizes for more number of application by thanking various libraries which are previously inbuilt in Python. In introduction, Python was introduced in 1980s at Centrum Wiskunde and Informatic within Netherlands by Guado and Rossum. Its different versions are launched in Python 2.0 in 16th October 2000. It planned to launch Python 2.7 before Python 3.0, but Python 3.0 launched previously by Python 2.7 on 3rd of December 2008. After that, Python 2.7 launched recently on January 2017. This is most busting language at 5th position from March 2017 at source of different magazines. Here are some literature review which we did, from which I can explain few of them. Like here is second one, benefit the paper title benefits an introduction to Python programming for freshman students using inexpensive robots. The author of the same paper was Yung Chang Hei. Paper was published in 2014 International Conference of Teaching, Assessment and Learning, IEEE. And the overall conclusion of that paper was how robots are used using Python language along with understanding the concept and programming of language. Also here are Python as using for the data processing and data science concept. Another one is here programming language Python for data processing. This paper is also published in IEEE journal. And the summary of this paper is the importance of Python language in the data processing to convert data flow diagram into Python to supplement code with another program. Here are also some few literature reviews. Like one of them is research on the improvement of Python language programming course, teaching methods based on visualization. Here are multiple authors of that. This paper is published in the 12th International Conference on Computer Science and Education. And the objective of this paper is to reform and optimize teaching method of Python using visual basics to improve quality of teaching. Here are few of characteristics of Python, like elevated, object-oriented, dynamic, and compact. Python is straightforward and easy to use because of its simple syntax. Python is adaptable language. We can adapt it with multiple language like C and Java while we are doing some complicated programming. And Python is novice amiable language. Here are some of features of Python. Python is simple, straightforward language. It's high-level interpreted language. Python is open source language. It's easily available free of cost in online. Python is object-oriented. It's portable using large standard libraries. Extensible. It has large standard libraries due to which we have to code very less lines. Extensible and embeddable. It's used data structures, graphical user interface, network and internet programming, also integrity of components. Here are basic difference between Python and C language, which we can conclude that more line of codes are used in C as compared to Python. there is need of opening and closing braces in C or any other language, which is no need of there of braces in Python. No semicolon is needed in Python, while in C, C++, Java, in other programming language, semicolon is needed. Need to create function within a function in other any programming language, but no need to create function within a function in Python. Automatic compilation is done in Python, which is not available for any other language. Here are some advantages of Python, like extensive library support, integration features, improve programmers productivity, and also there is the disadvantages of Python. There is not easy to maintain. We have to update Python time to time. It also gets slower in speed because it contains a large number of libraries. As compared to other language, Python is little bit slower and weak in mobile computing. Also, it gives errors at runtime. So here I conclude that develop to scale back dimension of coding. Python user convenient and efficient to use. Python is straightforward, quick, amazing, along with being open source. Python is studied some characteristics as well as limitations. And this preferable programming language to develop game, website, or any other live project for data science. Here are some future scope of Python is prototype language for backend progress in web lessons, regularly coordinated into application in web, easy implementation of embedded system related projects or other live projects. Here are some references we used. Thank you. Sir, any questions?
What do you think? What is next now after Python?
Yes, sir.
What can be the next programming language which will replace Python for all these applications which you have mentioned, like machine learning and data science?
Currently, sir, Go and Scala are using. Also, R language is using for data science, but somewhat there is limitation of R language. Like it's particularly focused on statistical part. Like we can also do Python statistical part in Python, but R is particularly focused on statistical part. So Go and Scala are particularly using for as an alternative of Python language in data science and machine learning part.
So as you mentioned some features of C and Python, but what is the main reason why Python is being more popular?
It's open source, and after that it's easy to code as compared to we have to code simple program.
So why it is easy to
we
code?
Have to code n number of lines in other language.
Why it is easy to code?
It has
in
n number
Python?
of inbuilt libraries.
Okay, fine.
Python has n number of inbuilt libraries.
Okay, thank you. We can start with next.
I call our next presenter. It's Girisha.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Grisha. Please start the presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Is this screen is visible, ma'am?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Wait a second.
Yeah, it's visible now. You can make a power, slideshow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Please start.
Is it okay, sir. Good evening, sir. This is Girish Acham from KLA Technological Institute, Hubli, Karnataka. I'm going to present the work we have done. The paper title is Fusion of Face Recognition and Number Plate Detection for Automatic Gate Opening System with a paper ID 513. So the content.
So just go back. It's recognition or so some word Recognition or something different? I'm not getting what.
It
Recognition
is
or what?
recognition.
Recognition.
Yeah, recognition. That's all. Okay.
So I think, yeah, there is something.
Yes, recognition, sir. So the outline of the presentation is introduction, objective of this work, block diagram, and algorithm for number plate detection and uh, vehicle driver detection, then experimentation results, conclusion with reference. So the introduction is when you go to the any some industry apartments, it is very necessary of maintaining and monitoring the vehicles. So normally we use the human being which is monitoring continuously. It definitely some error may happen. So there is, if you have an automatic system, it would help you to save, and we can save the time, and it will be very inexpensive way we can maintain the monitoring and controlling the entry and exit of the vehicle. The existing solution, there are many solutions already available which is related to some password or sensing the vehicle, and there is a issuing of particular ID for particular vehicle. So along with that, those conventional methods, there are the advanced machine learning or deep learning algorithm which can be used in this application by detecting the number plate detection as well as the driver or for authorized person detection. If the both the authorized person and the vehicle is detected, then only the system should gate will be open or closed. So in this application, we are going for computer vision and deep learning algorithm for this. So the main objective of this is there is an artificial intelligence based robust and secure security system development to initiate the opening or closing to detect detection of detecting the driver and their respective vehicle number. The block diagram of this work is, there are two main verticals. The first one is automatic number plate recognition. The another system is face recognition. The number plate detection system is going to detect the number plate and it will recognize the numbers, and parallelly the system it will capture from the image, it will recognize the person who is driving. If both are matched with the stored database, then only the decision box will take the decision to whether should open the gate or not open the gate. The first thing is automatic number plate detection. It is a image processing related image processing is used to detect the input to the system is the image, the of size 300 by 300 color image. From that image we have to first we will select we have to identify the number plate, and after that we are going to recognize the numbers. So there are some few steps we will follow, the pre-processing and some image processing technique is used to remove the noise, and edge detection by using canny edge detectors. Then the last one is recognize the characters from the once we detect the number plate, from the number plate we are going to detect the characters in the number plate. That is the first stage of this methodology. The second phase is the face recognition. The face recognition system is used to recognize the person from the digital image or a video frame from the video source. There are multiple methods of facial recognition systems are existing. So the one is the machine learning algorithm where we can extract the features from the face and we can recognize the person. So the another vertical is to deep learning method where we are using the different database which were created. We have to train the network and we can recognize the authorized persons. So here in this work we are using the ResNet deep learning framework to detect or recognize the driver or that particular authorized person. So why we are using a ResNet? There are different networks which are available. There is a it is basically ResNet is a neural network, but it is a improvised compared to the neural network. The major problem or a constraint of a neural network is the vanishing gradient is the major problem. As we increase the number of layers, where we back propagation, it causes the vanishing gradient. To avoid the vanishing gradient, we can go for ResNet, which is it uses the shortcuts or jump some layers that we call it as a skip connections. ResNet is well known to solve such problems, specifically for face detection or a driver detection. These are the results. First one is number plate and face recognition. The first image which will show the input image, which is the color image. After that, we are converted into grayscale image, and using a canid edge detectors, we are detecting the edges from the image. Then the optical recognition, we are recognizing or we are detecting the numbers from the number plate. And the second results which will show the it is the vehicle driver detection. It will detect the driver. So the one more thing, we have just animated some gate opening system by using software Blender software. We can it has an IDE. By using a Python script, we can create some gates, that is which is shown in the right hand side, which will be open and close. This will be controlled by using a Python script. So overall results which will show that one the first case where if the number is detected and the face is the authorized person, then the gate will be open. In the second case, the number plate is different, therefore it is not stored in the database, but the face is recognized, but the number plate is not matched with the stored database. That's why the door is not opened. So from this, we can conclude that by using automatic number plate detection and deep learning net architecture, we can achieve the accuracy of 99.38%, and gate opens for all authorized vehicles with all authorized people. Gate does not open for unauthorized vehicles. And the proposed artificial intelligence based system efficiently works for automatic gate opening. These are some of the references which you have used for this book, and thank you. Any questions?
Which platform is used for implementation?
Platform means we have simulated using Python, sir.
Python. So what is the data set which you use?
Dataset is it's ResNet 34 architecture we have used. And we have, along with that, we have trained our own data set for that.
So how you created your own data set?
Data set is in the laboratory. We are using some in the lab. Core setup is there where we have collected some images captured within the campus. We have in the lab we have a setup. From that we have captured few data set we have created.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Richa madam, how many presentations are to go now?
So only one presentation.
Okay. Fine.
Now we call our last presenter.
Yeah.
Thu Nguyen.
Student.
Hello everybody. I'm Vietnamese. I'm come from Banking University and in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Now I am very present to present our results. Now I can share the screen. Okay. Um, Thank you for your listening me, and I'm present about resource impact service quality based on customer word of mouth at the commercial bank in Highland, Vietnam. Just it Highland, Vietnam is central Highland is Vietnam is Tây Nguyên. The bank up in Highland. So it is a mediator role of customer satisfaction. Now I give you some content about on paper I'm research the reason to research and literature review and research hypotheses, support data collection and result and discussion and management implication. Okay. Now here now in central highland of Vietnam is many banks, especially the brands up banks, commercial banks. Our research is identified, analyze, and evaluating factor affecting of service quality to customer service and to work amount on a commercial bank in the central highlands in Vietnam. The second reason is data you in the study collect from 299 customers who are using commercial bank service in Central Highland of Vietnam. And the third research results show that empathy, service quality, capacity, and reliability has a strong effect on customer service, customer satisfaction, and the customer satisfaction factor also has a positive effect on word of mouth. In particularly, empathy has stronger impacts on word of mouth activity than other two elements. Um, um, according to Parasuramans et al., the gap between customer expectation and their perception is core service quality. But service quality is focused assessment that reflects customer perceptions of specific aspects of the service, just as reliability, responsibility, and assurance, empathy, and tangibility. It is service quality, such as tangible reliability and responsiveness, assurance, and empathy is the model. But customer satisfaction is assessed based on the level of satisfaction with their needs, the customer needs, the level of meeting customer needs also depend on the quality of goods and service. In other words, quality is line of feature and characteristics that must be present in goods and service to meet demand. But customer satisfaction is level of acceptance that customer have for different characteristics of good, and that is source of profit and reason for organizational activity. And when customers are meeting their needs and expectations, they tend to pass on those things to their related friends and people around them, that is word of mouth. So we propose conceptual model. It's a five-factor: tangible, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy. Effects to customers satisfaction, and the customer satisfaction affects to word of mouth. And the three parts, three sample and data collection, which 2099 respondents data collect through detailed questionnaires for customers from 17 joint stock commercial branch banks in Central Highlands, Vietnam. Total of 2,299 response units was used in data analysis. Data zero were and cost passed by analysis area SPSS to 25 software such as upon male and females and gender and age. But the time to zero service of commercial is less than 1 year and 1 to 3 year and 3 years to 5 year and about 5 years. Read in the table. Okay. And results and discussion. The data is processing is so we can we use correct cross-batch alpha to test reliability and EFI factor exploratory factor analysis, and so we test by regressions. So the result of run back and fast reliability result is more than about or about than 0.6. So the enzyme values representing variably equivalent to its factor are greater than 1 in total. Burden is greater than 50%. KMO test and balance test was used to evaluate to validity of the data. Multiple regression analysis is used. Student test F test for regression and analysis is used to test hypotheses about the suitability of linear regression models. Of the signification is less more than 5%. And the factor analysis is we fashion in EFI result independent variables. So the empathy, service capability, reliability, and tangibles. The KMO test it was 0.602, more than 50%, which is certified conditional and element answer reliability. Balance test has significance is 0, which indicates that variables are correlate with each other, and the factor ensures statistical significance. The last fact loading factor is greater than 0.5 from 0.512 and to 0.0828 and the enzyme values is 1.1 sorry. Yeah, in total, exact variance is 22%, more than 50% from 25 items divided into 5 factor. So the conceptual model is 5 factor of service quality, but after data process and EFI, the result of the four dependence, okay, and after factors analysis dependent, we can test dependent dependent variable, customer service satisfaction, and word of mouth. The result of as KMO more than 0.8, more than 50%, and the significance of balance test is zero, and the exact variance is 68%, greater than 50%, means that and pretty length 68% of measure of variation of data originally surveyed. So after we test the validity and EFR of
Dear,
the
dear
variable.
presenter, you have last 1 minute.
And the last test in the regression analysis research show that adjust R square in 0.0572 such as 57 and 57.2% variable of dependent variable. Customer is explained by 4 dependent factor, but doing Watson code efficiency 2, so that there are no autocorrelation between variables. Such as the model is so the regression and test empathy, service capability, and reliability and timeables. But the hypothesis, empathy, and service capability and reliability are accepted, and the tangible is rejected because the significance is more than 5%, more than 5%. The results that in subdivision and work group mount relationship shall adjust R square to 35%, 35%. So it's the model is as so recent model estimation. So that and the equator have a customer service and word of mouth depends by your customer service. Just as equal 1 and equal 2. After test and have some recommendation to implication management. The first is object of research is service quality that affect customer service work more for commercial banks, and the survey is customers using the service of commercial in Highland Central in Vietnam. Quantitative research were conducted with the target customers who are using the service of commercial bank with the and is the sample is 2099. The
I
development
think
of
we can conclude now.
A little. And the development factor contribute improving the quality of service, thereby improving customer service satisfaction and positive word of mouth band up in Highland in Vietnam through research implications are follows. The first is the bank needs to consider devising a field strategy in order to find out where needs of customer to meet, and the bank also need to open more training courses for staff because the skills and soft skill is very important for the serve and it is not only for professional competence knowledge, but also in the core skill and soft skill to serve the staff. For the last year, for the band brand image, the band need to show its clients professional manner in working with a well-organized team. Okay, that's on. Thank you for the attention and listening. Any question?
Yeah. Good work, Professor. I have one small question.
Okay.
Can you hear
me? Pardon?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah. Is your work is being used by some banks now?
We still in the research in the banking sector, and
Okay.
we survey from 17 branch of bank in Vietnam.
Okay.
It's located in Central Highland in Vietnam.
Okay. Good work. Thank you. Over to Richa, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I sincerely thank our researcher for their excellent presentation and in this technical session. And thank you to all participants for being a part of international conference. I hope this session was informative and knowledgeable as well. All the presenter would be getting their digital certificate payment receipt thank you letter through mail within 1 working day. Further, all the papers have already forwarded to the Springer and publication process. The publication will be live within 4 to 5 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ICTCS during this tenure. Now, I sincerely would like to give a warm regards to our session chair
Thank you
for chairing this session. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and presence. Yes, sir, would you like to say, address something?
No, it was a good session and all the papers which were presented were very good. Particularly the last paper and the cloud solution, the first paper, which was really useful to the society. So I wish all the researchers all the very best, and thank you very much for team of ICTCS and entire team for invitation, for giving me an opportunity to chair this session, and thank you for lovely certificate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And I kindly request to everyone to turn on the camera for a small memory.
Yeah. Who is somebody is in the car? Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you everyone. Stay
Bye.
safe.
Yeah,
Take
you too all.
precautions.
Take care. Bye.